What is up people, Matt here. So today's video is going to be a impressions video, and the game in question, if you've already read the title of the video, is Bloodborne. So I've played quite a bit of Bloodborne now. I'm level 65 on it, which is, it's fairly high. I mean, I need quite a lot of experience to level up now. So before I start giving my impressions, as a Souls fan, I've played Demon Souls, Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2. I might start making some slight comparisons in this video to Bloodborne. If you haven't played a Souls game before, apologies, but I think some comparisons are necessary. Now, if I just straight up called Bloodborne a Souls clone, I think that would be doing a disservice to the game. So let's say that it's a spiritual successor to the Souls games. So, how hard is Bloodborne? That's the first question a lot of people ask, and I would probably answer, it gets slightly easier as you go along, probably. As always, different bosses and different enemies in Dark Souls require different strategies, different skills. But I think I can confidently say that the start of Bloodborne is probably the hardest start of Demon Souls, Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2. Purely because there's quite a way until you can level up. You even have to fight a boss before you level up, technically. And it's pretty hard. Now, I did beat the first boss without dying, somehow. Obviously not being leveled up. But some people won't be so lucky. At the start of the game, I died quite a few times. Sometimes to normal enemies, sometimes to harder enemies. Sometimes it was just unlucky. A lot of the time, deaths in Bloodborne are totally deserved, though. Maybe you got attacked from behind because you didn't kill an enemy behind you, or if you run through them all and then you think, oh, I'm going to take them all on at once, unless you're extremely high level and they're lower level enemies, you're going to get fucked quick. So what's the combat like in Bloodborne? Well, the combat is very similar to the Souls games, obviously. The mechanics are pretty similar. There are slight differences. For example, instead of souls to level up in the Souls games, you get blood echoes in Bloodborne. They're pretty much the same thing. In the Souls games, when you die, you get a patch of blood or souls on the floor. You go get them from exactly where you died and you get your souls back. Obviously, if you died, then you lose them forever. In Bloodborne, if you die, an enemy absorbs your souls, possibly, if there's an enemy near there. The same thing, if you die, you don't get them back. If you kill the enemy, you get your souls, blood echoes back. Weapon system's a bit weird because, obviously, in the Soul series, you've either got a two-handed weapon or a sword and a shield, etc., etc. In Bloodborne, you've got like a sword-ish enemy, or they're called trick weapons, and you've got like a range weapon, so you've got like a blunderbuss, or you can put a torch in your hand. You've got a pistol, a rifle, flamethrower. It's a bit different. But trick weapons, a melee weapon pretty much, and there's two types of attacks. So you can have a long range attack that's a bit slow, or you can have a short range attack that's a bit quicker. It's pretty cool. You can fortify your weapons with shards, and you can put kind of blood gems, they're called in this game. You can put blood gems in, you can put them in certain slots in your weapon. They give you additional effects or bonus stats. You can't upgrade your armor or clothing in this game, which is a bit weird, but that's the way they did it. You got something called Cardell runes. They're kind of like personal buffs that you get, so you equip them much like the blood gems, but you get extra stats like for me personally, I've got a 3% damage reduction in physical, carry 4 more bullets, more blood echoes for enemies, stuff like that. So what else do I want to give my impression on in this video? Well, as I said, I've played quite a bit of it. I'm probably about halfway through. I've not had too much trouble, so though I have had certain bits where I've been dying constantly, or I've died quite a number of times. Once you get used to it, you know exactly where the enemies are and how they fight. It's fairly simple. Unlike Dark Souls, sometimes in Dark Souls or Demon Souls you might feel like you're not progressing when you keep dying, but in Bloodborne you technically are progressing even if you're not leveling up or getting blood echoes, because you're learning all the locations. Unlike in Demon Souls, Dark Souls, you kill enemies, they come back when you die or go back to the main hub. In Dark Souls 2, same sort of thing, but if you killed the same enemy 10 times, they disappeared from the game unless you kind of respawn the whole area at the bonfires. Bloodborne, straight back to Demon and Dark Souls. You can kill the enemies as many times as you want if you respawn or go back to the main hub and come back, which is good because you can actually farm, and farming is probably necessary in Bloodborne. So I quite like that. So in that aspect, Dark Souls 2 is probably a bit harder. But the one thing I'm going to give advice to, if people are playing Bloodborne or plan on playing Bloodborne, unlike the Souls games where you could be a bit more tactical and a bit more defensive, wait it out and learn what's happening, in Bloodborne you haven't really got that luxury. You have to be extremely offensive. You have to go in there for the kill or the enemy will kill you. So there's a new mechanic in the game called Regain, where an enemy hits you for a brief period of time. The amount of damage that they did to you, if you hit them back, you start gaining chunks of that back. So if you get hit by an enemy, the first thing that you want to do is get back in there and hit them back to get your health back, and possibly even kill them just like that. And you can pretty much regain all your health if you're really that good at the game. You wouldn't even need to use healing. Now let's get on to the healing. In the Souls games you kind of had Estus flasks that you drink, your health comes back. You go back to the bonfire and they refill. In Bloodborne you haven't really got that luxury. You've got things called blood vials. Blood vials pretty much work the same as Estus flasks. You can carry 20, which is quite a fair bit, or more with upgrades. But once you use them, if you went back to the bonfire, you don't get them back. So let's say you went through a whole area, you had 20 and now you're down to 10. You go to a lamp, go back to Hunter's Dreams, you're still going to have 10. You can get special vials of blood from people, which you can get refilled. Only one at a time though, so I mean, is there really a point? I don't know, maybe for boss fights, but I haven't used them. So that's a bit different. There's not a lot else that's really different to the Souls games, to be fair. You know, this Bloodborne is similar to the Souls games. I probably prefer Bloodborne to the Souls games. I can confidently say that. It definitely feels like a next gen Souls game, which is good. There's not a lot else I could say about it at the moment, really, because I haven't beaten the game. The bosses vary in difficulty from easy, not even getting hit, to hard, dying 4 or 5 times in a row. A lot of bosses have weaknesses or strengths, and you can counter them with items or armor. One particular boss I had a problem with was a boss called Dark Beast Parl. He's an optional boss, so you don't have to fight him. But his kind of strength was lightning attacks. He's pretty much always, brimming with lightning. and at some points if you get near him, he'll charge up and blow up and pretty much kill you if you haven't got much lightning defense, or he'll slash you a couple of times, and if you get hit, the lightning's another problem. Luckily, a previous kind of mini boss, I suppose you could say, gives you where you can buy that armor in a shop, and his whole armor set gives you resistance to lightning, so I used that and I was able to do it much easier. So there is always a way to beat an enemy, pretty much. You just got to figure it out, learn the strategies, don't be pussyfooting around, because if you know, there's a couple of times where I'd sit back a bit, I tried to keep my distance from the enemy, I don't know why, and 9 times out of 10 it just won't work. You'll get yourself killed more than you'll get hits in, because you need to be up close, in person, getting them, hitting them. You can't sit back in this game. You can't do that. So yes, you have to be aggressive and go in there, kill them. It's kill or be killed in Bloodborne. So that's pretty much it for this impressions video, guys. I'll have a review when I've beaten the game. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching my video, and I will definitely see you on the next one. Bye now.